Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of the Almost Essential podcast. We had some Twitter errors and not wanting us to go live for a little bit, but we've made it. We got a lot to discuss this week that's been happening. Let's see. We have iOS jailbreaks that are brand new that look kind of interesting. Alder Lake CPU benchmarks. Then we got Google auto-enrolling users in two-factor authentication to try to get the masses onto this. Then we have Nintendo selling ROMs for old games, emulation stuff. It's interesting.
Huh? Wait, really?
Yeah. They're selling old emulation
keep going.
stuff.
I need to stick to that one. I didn't read that one. Is that in the list?
I think if it wasn't in the list, I linked one of the things that was related to it. Yeah, okay, I linked the modder pleads guilty to piracy charges.
The lawsuit. I saw the lawsuit.
But this is on the tails of them doing actually releasing ROMs for the old games that they had not
They didn't release
previously.
ROMs. They have the N64 Switch
Emulator,
Online
right?
thing. Yeah.
But they run
Oh, I have a nice story about that.
Okay, let's start with that one, because that's about what I got as far as the topic list.
Nintendo scammed me out of my fucking money.
Oh yeah, what happened? Do tell.
Okay.
Salary at time, go.
Here's how it goes. All right. So, I'm going to hang out with some people, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to bring the Switch. We're going to play some N64 games. Could you believe it? So, I grabbed two trusty GameCube controllers, my Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and then this other, the SNES Pro controller that 8BitDo makes, which is basically, it implements the firmware for a Pro controller, so it thinks it's a Pro controller. So I show up and I plug in the GameCube controllers, and the left trigger is bound to whatever, I don't know what it is in Ocarina of Time, that hides the map. Maybe it's a C button, or I don't know what it was. Oh, I think it actually is left bumper, but not Z target. So you literally can't play Ocarina of Time with a GameCube controller, which, I don't know if you know this, but they released a version for, they've had versions that support GameCube controllers natively of Ocarina of Time. And none of the controls are remappable at all.
That's what I was just about to ask. Why? Why are they not remappable?
Why? Because they want people to steal their shit, obviously. I don't know. It's I can't believe it. It was I Googled it, and it was the most complained about feature, or most complained about thing. I can't believe they released it without it, man. You should be able to change. You can't if you have a GameCube controller, you can't hit the home button. There's no way to leave to quit the game. You have to actually pull up a second controller and hit the home button. There's no button combination that will force it to go home.
This seems extremely logical.
Stupid.
And hurts my brain.
It's really dumb. And they're charging 3 times what the base subscription is worth for Sega Genesis and for N64. And you can't remap controls in either of them. I mean, listen, we had a good time, and there's been other issues. So there are slowdowns in games and all sorts of crazy stuff with draw distances and shit. I'm not sure if it's to do with which ROM versions they chose, but there are issues that other people are complaining about. I just couldn't believe that you can't remap controls. I think I tweeted that this is why people pirate, and I stand by that. That's literally why people pirate.
Nintendo has a long history of making sure that users are not very cared for or made feel comforted or welcomed, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I think that they rushed this out. I don't know why they would have rushed it out. It's so weird.
So this is a headline from TechDirt. Nintendo killed emulation sites and then released garbage N64 games for the Switch. And a whole bunch of people have been complaining about their releasing of this emulator and stuff, because all of this, a lot of people are having super laggy games, like getting 3 to 5 frames per second on some stuff. shit just not working. Like I've heard 2 other stories that are similar to Sal's where you just can't rebind whatever it is that works and it doesn't work at all, and you're just stuck, right? And then on top of this, of course, there's Modder pleads guilty to piracy charges, will pay Nintendo $4.5 million. They're going full bore with the sue everybody that ever did anything regarding emulation or access to anything related to this.
Yeah, I can understand this one, though.
Yeah.
Like, them creating software that literally is designed to play pirated ROMs, like, that are, like, there's, like, a gradient. Somewhere along the age of games, piracy becomes something that I'm comfortable with. And this might make Nintendo scream and ball their fists real tight and do an Arthur cosplay. But, like, if you made a game 30-something years ago and you refuse to release a way for me to play it today, then you can fuck off. Like, trying to get mad at people who are just allowing people to play basically history, right? At this point.
Mm-hmm.
I have a different approach if you're like I have a different, at some point it becomes piracy where I'm less comfortable doing it these days, being a functioning adult and not like a broke fucking college kid. Like where I could go to Steam and I could pay $5 and play your title. Like, and it came out 10 years ago. Like we could pay what? $15 to play GTA 5 now? Right? Like, you know, if you pirate
There's actually
GTA 5,
times you can get it for free depending on where you get it, and like, or less than $5.
If you're pirating a game and it's fucking $15, like, you're a piece of shit and you should probably stop.
However,
like,
if there's no way to actually get the game, so this is the weird.
That's what I'm saying. If
this is the weird scenario
way,
where they release some of these games but they don't work. Okay, well, do they fix that eventually? Do Nintendo's emulators eventually work for this scenario, and piracy sites and tools like this get shut down for good, and then we actually move forward into a better, brighter future where Nintendo supports older games? Question mark? It's Nintendo, so...
My thing here is that they released like 8 N64 games. They've killed a ton of ROM sites, right?
Yeah.
And like there's just no like and then it's not even as good. Like the ROMs aren't even as good. They're not you don't have as much choice, and the controller supports shit. So, I don't know. I feel like if they weren't gonna do it right, maybe they should just fucked off and not done it at all.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm not a Nintendo person or console person in general, so it's hard for me to have a super strong stance on it beyond like a philosophical. Right? Yeah.
So it's not as important. But also, and the worst thing, so like the left trigger is like one thing, and the lack of Z target is another thing, right? But the worst offender is that there are some games where they bound the C stick to like the buttons on the joypad, even for the what's it called? Even for the Pro controller, and you have to like reach across to like move and fire and stuff like that. Like you have to thumb on one side of the pad and then hit the other side. Was it like X and Y like across from one another? So like you have to hit like that across the pad. So they like bound completely nonsensical things like to the buttons as well. So like you can't move and shoot, or you can't look and shoot, because remember it used to be like the C stick was look around.
Yeah.
But now they bound the C stick buttons to actual buttons, so you can't move and shoot or look and shoot.
Absolutely broken.
It's complete shit. So they kind of fucked that up pretty bad, in my opinion.
Well, let's see. Let's do streaming news, because there's only a couple of topics on this. On the Twitch-related front, DJ Wheat stepped down after 10 years of working for Twitch. He's been
I heard about that.
Doing a whole bunch of various things for Twitch over a long course of time. He, a couple of years ago, moved to Kansas and took his family out of the streaming area, the hotbed zone, and he's wanted like a time away for a little while. So it's good. He's getting a vacation, as he calls it. So kudos to him, and thanks for everything he's done for the scene. Blah, 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 blah. You have any thoughts on this, or are you just going to...
I mean, we got into a pretty big debate about it on stream.
There's been some funny moments coming out, but
yeah, I mean, he's notoriously, like, he's obviously like a enthusiastic guy who did a lot of really good work for Twitch, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has hot takes, and one of his hot takes was that, you know, Twitch streamers would know the line when they would get banned, when they cross it, which is, you know, like, that's like corporate speak for, like, you know, we left the rules vague so that you guys, you know, we could ban you at will for, like, whatever, because if we actually, like, made it so it was obvious, you know, then it would take power away from us, and then, like, you guys will know because you think you've done something wrong because you'll be banned. It's classic. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of shitty, and I thought it was really out of touch. But, you know, reflecting on it more, he probably didn't, like, I mean, that's just what it is. Like, what is he going to do about it? He's not in charge of that shit. Like, that's
he can't control or, like, dictate or name all those things specifically.
The correct move was just to shut the fuck up and not say anything. If he has no actual say on the topic, like, he can't do anything. And
there's only so much he can say as a PR person or, like, public figure if those decisions have been handed up the chain to higher people.
Or, like, pretend like you have a say, or like you actually know how it works, when clearly,
I don't remember what time that was, but it seems like one of those, like, offhanded comments. Was that like an official PR Twitch stream or something? On,
yeah,
like,
it was. Fuck, I cannot remember what the...
Was it on his private stream?
Around that was. Yeah, but there was... Yeah, no, it might have been in a town hall.
It seems like something he would say on his own personal stream, but not on a town hall.
Could have been that too.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember. Was it on his stream? Yeah, it could have been on his stream, and I can't remember who he was responding to either. I can't.
In any case, that besides the point. He's done a lot for which we're thankful.
He actually really has, though.
He's been going to bat for a lot of us that a lot of people probably will never know, or that I can't say, or stuff behind the scenes for quite a while. So. Hats off to him. In other streaming news, Smix has also left Twitch a little while ago. It's been like a month or so, I think. Maybe a little bit longer. My memory's bad on this. But Pokimane announced a new talent and brand consulting firm, and they named it RTS.gg.
I mean, very cheeky name choice.
Yeah. Apparently that was very intentional, along with... a couple other people. So this is going to be interesting to watch and see what happens with this.
I mean, they chose good people for it.
Yeah. Kim Fan, formerly of Blizzard. I don't know how much people know about how much Pokimane's involved in, like, business strategy or what she does besides streaming, but I think most people know Smix and Kim Fan. But their site's kind of laid out pretty nicely. I can appreciate a good design layout, if nothing else, right? So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah. No. So what are they doing? They're linking creators and brands pretty much, and, like, helping you figure out, like, what? I guess basically, just figuring out how to grow your brand.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. They also apparently co-own Evo now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes of this. This is one of those things that's going to be like, we talk about it, and then, like, it's going to be a little quiet, and then, like, some juggernaut news comes out, and it's going to be like these people behind it.
It's a management company, so you shouldn't ever hear anything about them.
I mean,
they
like,
should just be
they shouldn't be, like, a
people.
newsworthy, but, like, when it comes to, like, stuff that I do for business, it'll be like, oh, these people are the ones running the account of XYZ or something like that.
Your normies like me,
like,
or, like, you know, someone that's just like a you know, Twitch watcher should never hear about them.
They're supposed to be in the background type of thing, which I guess
they're managing.
I guess that's news that's way more important to somebody like me than most people, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
or even me. Like, you know, if I ever want to get into that, but I'm very particular. I don't think I'll ever take sponsorships unless it's, like, very away from tech or anything I would ever buy.
Because you don't want to be a conflict of interest at all, and I completely understand that. It's just
Well, yeah, I think it really, unless you're like Linus, and even then, Linus has gotten in shit, and he's just very transparent. Like, it's very...
He's in a place he can get into shit, though, and still survive as a business, though,
yes,
with that.
And he has many years of, like, a positive dialogue with his community, too. So, like, people believe that even though he takes these deals, that it doesn't affect anything. And many of the times, he takes, like, deals from companies he shits on. So,
and they do it and sign up knowingly for it, and they still get publicity, exactly. And they still sell tons of product.
Yeah, and when you have an open dialogue like that, and especially with stuff like, the Frameworks laptop, where he was like very open with about what he was doing and how he was doing it.
Right.
It builds trust there. But like as one lowly streamer who just streams, like if I talk about tech all the time, and then all of a sudden I have a SteelSeries sponsorship, and I'm only rocking SteelSeries peripherals, and I'm also simultaneously saying the SteelSeries mice are better than everybody else's mice.
Let me pull up this clip from like 2 months ago where Sal shit on this one specific SteelSeries. Yeah, like that is like it's a
it's just safer for me to just if I would take like maybe like if I really believed in it, like a supplement sponsorship or something so outside of the realm of anything that I'd ever shill.
Energy bars.
Yeah, I mean something like that. Yeah, I would take a coffee sponsorship if it was a good blend. I would take a fucking straight up from whoever. Absolutely, that I'd do that if they were good. If it was good, but yes, Jeremy brought up that it was about Destiny's ban when he was on that call with that chick who showed something on her phone that was like TOS. So he was interviewing somebody. And she was on camera, like in a small window, and then she showed something on her phone that was TOS in the middle of an interview, and he got banned. He got banned for that, and that was like, I mean, listen, like it doesn't take a fucking genius to know that that's bullshit, right? Like that's completely and utterly out of his control. He deleted the VOD, he closed it immediately. He then didn't show that person again, kept the audio. Like, everything that you're supposed to do in that situation, he did it and caught the ban anyway. So, like, what are you implying? Like, you should just never have calls with people?
There's one thing that, like, that I've kind of struggled with, because I really would have had, those old talk shows, like, speaking of DJ Wheat and people, like, calling in talk shows, like Destiny, In Control, they used to be on a talk show along with Artosis, and they would have live call-in people, and people would call in, unscripted, completely do anything. They had one troll that would go into the bathroom with his phone or whatever and flush the toilet, and that was the call. He would just make the toilet flush things out, right? We live in a society today where I'm scared to actually, and I'm somebody who has control, a lot of talk shows and run those. I'm scared to actually ever have a live call-in segment now ever again, because like people could just call in and say a whole bunch of crap, whatever it is they want to be, if they have a gripe against the streamer that I'm streaming the channel on or whatever, and take that person down or whatever, like, and who knows what my ban appeal process for that is. Like,
yeah, I mean, listen, like shitty, I understand that that's like a TOS or whatever, but I also, I mean,
there needs to be a line of comments. I
don't understand how you can look at that and be like, this is the guy who's streaming's fault, because like it's clearly not. Like, even giving him a warning, like, unless it looked like he was clearly trying to get that shit to happen, like, I don't know.
Was he intentionally and knowingly, purposely promoting whatever the content is? So, if it was an accident, and you tried
a very good example is someone getting banned for IRL streaming, for something that happens, like, when they're just, like, walking down the street.
Right.
Like,
if Twitch is trying to...
If a fight breaks out in, like, the street corner, and that's, like, it's, like, a violence thing or whatever, and you can't have that, like, on stream or whatever it is, like, do you ban them then? Because, like, I don't understand. Like, you had a whole fucking section for people doing that. So, like, it's either allowed or it isn't. Like, you're either allowed to take the risk or you're not. But it's like saying that Russian roulette is allowed, but getting shot in the head is not. Like, you're saying you can hold the gun to your head and pull the trigger, but if you get shot, you're banned. Like, it's just really weird that you're allowed to do the things that come with the inherent risk, but you just can't like if something bad happens, there's no protection.
I'll play devil's advocate on Twitch's defense part. Here we go. It feels like they're trying to get better at a lot of these things. So they're giving.
I agree.
I feel like a Twitch show when I do this, but like I gotta do it for like the point of this. They're giving us tools for IRL streaming. As soon as you're done IRL streaming, the stream can be automatically, without you having to do anything. As soon as you're offline, it automatically gets put as all your clips get deleted from that. That VOD gets unpublished, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying to do better with the music deals and like working through all those things. Twitch is like a dynamic changing platform, and they're constantly trying to deal with like the challenges that face a growing little platform such as theirs as they grow more mainstream. And I have a feeling that it's like one of those things where there's a whole bunch of people making a decision that stuff gets sent to them, and they're like trained, untrained interns, maybe, without trying to offend anybody, where those people are making calls on things as it's given to them, and they may not have a complete policy of everything that's happened or ever has happened or ever will happen. And even if they maybe haven't memorized all of it. Maybe there needs to be a better chain of escalation of those things. Okay, that's about all I got. I don't know.
And no, I agree with that. And so that's why I thought that his comments about that were really fucking bad. Because they're like the opposite of that. It's like saying, instead of acknowledging that clearly the rules are not defined. So like, before DJ Wheat had said that, I don't think there was a
hang on. My point of view on this, having known DJ Wheat for a while, is that seems like something that he is fully cognizant of, that he has had like lots of experience dealing with. At the time I spoke with him last, I think in person, we were laughing. I don't know how much I can say about it. It was around the time of an Alinity ban, one of the first 2 or 3, and basically as much information as I can give you is like eye rolling was had. Okay, there's only so much that he could do, and I think maybe knowing him, this is my presumption, is his comment saying you'll know that line when you cross to it is him 100% joking about this of like, I can't control what Twitch is. That sounds like such a tongue-in-cheek thing to say.
If it was a tongue-in-cheek like, haha, I'm with you guys, it did not come across
that's how it feels. That's how it feels to me. Then I would be
laughing with him because it'd be funny. But like, if it wasn't a joke, right? See, Jeremy thinks, right? Yeah. So Jeremy thinks it's not. But like, here's a good example of what I was trying to point out. So hot tubs as a category did not exist when DJ Wheat said that. So basically, they were talking about hot tub streaming in the Destiny ban thing, and how this is edge tier, like edge content. And then a bunch of people got banned for this kind of shit. And then they made a category for it to demonetize it, right? So like they basically said that it is allowed. So like that it simultaneously wasn't and then was allowed. And like all the people that caught bans, they didn't get compensated. They just should have known the line, but the line changed.
Yeah, the line's constantly changing. This is my point of it.
Constantly changing.
So him saying this is like, how the fuck are you supposed to know? You can't know. You'll know it when it comes to you because you literally can't write it. I can't say it, even though if I'm a public PR person of Twitch, I can't say it because I literally don't know it. That's how it seems. That's what sounds to me.
And if he was joking, then I
say joking lightly. Joking is the wrong word. You see, it as seems a dude, like tongue. Yeah, I get it.
Who's like on the barrel of the gun?
Yeah, that's your livelihood.
And it's not that funny, but like everything's funny till it happens to you. So I get it, right? Like everything's funny till it happens to me. So like I'd laugh at that. Like if he said that, oh, you'll know the line when you cross it, but that. He said it. I thought he said it more seriously, but you know, I mean, that's. It
wasn't like I don't think joking is the right. It's like
it was a tongue-in-cheek comment, kind of like he was sort of like
because I know he's been fighting this battle. Yeah, that's how I would take this personally.
If that is the case, then I think that's fine, and I think it's fine either way. Like I said, it doesn't make.
I'm not saying it was a
all the good
compliment
that he's done or anything. I just like. I saw that and I just remember being like my eyes like rolled so far into the back of my head there was friction burn. Like
I completely get that.
Right? Like it's just like, come on, bro. Like here we all are, like kind of worried that we're gonna say something stupid or someone's gonna say something stupid.
We're surfing on the edge of a razor blade.
Yeah, we're all worried about crossing the line. And you're out here saying like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, you know, you'll know the line. It's like, fuck off, man. You know, go retire. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you can't when you're like streaming and shit, and then somebody says something like that, you just feel, he just feels bad. No, but I get it. Like at the time, I was a little bit more affronted, and I'm still kind of butthurt about it. But one day, I'm sure I'll laugh.
I don't know. Laughing is still the right response for it. It's more of like, I don't know.
I mean, of course, you have to laugh, or it's just depressing. Like,
yeah, my grandma had a saying about this of something like, you can either laugh, honey. She used to tell this to my like mother or something, and she was really old, so she'd do it in this crackety old voice with the cane and go like, honey, you can laugh about things, you can cry about them. And if I've lived this long, and she was like 92 at the time, which was, you know, ancient back then, and she'd give this cackle that I must be doing things right. So, yeah, that's about where it is. Okay.
No, it's always better to laugh. Of course.
Otherwise, your soul hurts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Do you want to do Overwatch, Blizzard news? Do we want to do iPhone news next? What do you want to do?
Video game publisher isn't going to release any video games this year. More at
Overwatch 2 delayed along with Diablo again. And this is on top of... Okay, so I have a little bit of a rant about this that I had a long time ago. And
I love how Candy Crush is on that fucking screen right now, my guy. Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
Morheim, he's not dead yet, but in the future when he is dead, he will roll over in his grave.
He's rolling in his bed already, like of sleep. Oh my god. Like when he sleeps at night, he's just spinning perpetually.
Fuck me.
Anyway, in our new world where we live... okay, so a long time ago, I had a problem. This was like when Overwatch 2 was first announced, or before it was announced. But like people were wanting new content for Overwatch. The last time they released a hero was like in April of 2020. Okay, we're in almost 2022 now. Okay,
yeah,
they have a problem where so Day 9 has a rant about feedback. When you take feedback from customers, there's a point at which you should never take or stop taking feedback, or only rate it at a certain level from customers. And I think Blizzard did something when they said Overwatch was being released and there will be no paid content. So part of the problem with this is you paint yourself in a corner. Okay, well now, how do they make money? Okay, loot boxes, Halloween events. Okay, well there's only so much that's going to net you. If you can't release new heroes and people pay for them, new maps and people pay for them, there's going to be a limit to like how much the publisher is going to develop new content for your game. Okay, well let's try to package it in a game of like, here's Overwatch 2. There's videos of them out in a range re-recording the sniper bullet from Widow's gun, like the new audio to make it sound amazing, and it does. There's footage we have of them working on like dynamic blizzard and snowstorms that come and sweep across maps, and the footage looks amazing. So like people are like, oh, it's just going to be a DLC. Overwatch 2 is just going to be an add-on, a service pack, right? Okay, well, then they're like, okay, well, then let's add more content to it, I think. So like, okay, well, let's make it spruce up. Let's do all this stuff. Let's put all the game modes in it. Okay, well, now we're pushing farther out. Okay. Meanwhile, Overwatch 1 hasn't had content in a long time, and now it's just slowly user base without any new content is going, like, okay, as much as people may not like it, some people, when was the last time League of Legends got a rumor that there was going to be a League of Legends 2? When was the last time CSGO, rumors of CSGO 2? Games are kind of a service these days. You can embrace it or deny it, but when you say no new paid content for Overwatch, and that's a promise that you need to stick to now because you made it. They
actually said that?
Yes.
I thought they were doing a paid like PvE thing. Or is everything not paid? So like I who haven't played Overwatch in years.
Originally Overwatch Overwatch 2 is going to be a PvE add-on and only have
co-op.
Right. However, that's not the case. Overwatch is going to dynamically change overall. Like when Overwatch 2 when the Overwatch 2 update comes, it's going to be a single client. Everybody that's playing Overwatch 1 is going to get upgraded to Overwatch 2, whether you pay for it or not.
I heard that it was going to be... I thought it was going to be like the multiplayer aspects were going to be upgraded regardless. Like Overwatch 2, 1 would become 2 for multiplayer. And then there'd be a whole single-player campaign / PvE that would be paid. And that's how they were going to make their money.
And people don't want to pay for just like PvE content. And so like the goal has changed a couple times now. Jeff Kaplan's left.
They're just in fucking shambles, bro. Like they have no idea what they're doing.
And
here's no direction.
I still play Overwatch regularly with my friends because it's a solid game and it's not dead. We can still get games in under a minute.
That's not what I'm saying. They just don't know where to go. Like they don't know what to do with it, and they're like it was built ground up as an esport, and it was built ground up as a fucking Team Fortress clone. Okay,
I disagree with that one, but that's too long of a rant to go here.
No. I don't mean as like as a Team Fortress clone in a way of like design, really, because it's clearly different. I mean, like from a viewership perspective, it's harder to watch like that. It's like it's a really weird role-based objective fighter, right? Like it's not like CS:GO where you're like counting down the people and then you get these moments of tension. It's like one long consecutive battle over objective points, and that like. Clearly, I played it the first day, and I knew instantly that, like, this game was fucking fun, but, like, what are you going to watch? Because I've literally respawned and killed people for the last 20 minutes, like, moving a truck across the map. Like, you couldn't pay me to watch this. You couldn't. And they ran into that problem. Like, how is Overwatch League? Do they even have Overwatch League anymore? Is it still running?
I think it's been kind of... I don't know. It's not much these days, I'll put it that way. Most people don't really like. It feels like most of the viewers for it are not there to watch the event. They're there to collect their in-game token points, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a great spectator sport. I agree with that. I would rather always play it than watch it.
Well,
I think they could.
My point about this was that it feels like the Overwatch 2 announcement of like paid single player content or campaign content was announced when it was still an esport. So like everyone who owned Overwatch 1 would be able to play Overwatch 2 and continue to play and practice and whatever. And then like that would fund the whole thing because there was just like a separate thing. So you wouldn't have to buy Overwatch 2 to continue to partake. But now the game is clearly a fun game. So that doesn't work anymore. Like, you need to sell the whole package. And so that, you're right. They wrote themselves into a corner, but without just reversing on the course and, like, actually being straight up with what you want the game to be. I think they're in a tough spot. Like, I don't know.
And, of course, I'm not saying that all the reorganization of Activision and changing of their entire leadership hierarchy and plans changing in COVID... That hasn't had... I'm not saying at all that hasn't played a role in this. It, of course, has.
Oh, of course it has.
I don't know what to say about that. I don't really follow Diablo, but I understand some people are upset. And
Diablo 4?
It's delayed again as well, which has been something that like people have been waiting for a while.
You know what? But Diablo 4 feels like... The thing about Diablo 4, okay, is that it's not on a timer. There's no leagues or anything around Diablo 4. Them delaying Diablo 4 is a good thing. And everyone should shut the fuck up. Because that is old Blizzard talking. Right? Like, game isn't ready? Delay it. Like, there's no reason for them to release it early. Right? If they release it early and it's shit, you know what's going to happen? Everyone comes out of the woodwork and says, look, Activision's fucked us all over again. Let's go play PoE. You know, like
I feel the same way with Overwatch. I don't want a crappy
but Overwatch
version
is
of
on
it.
a timer because they've got an ecosystem to fucking
they have players that are continuing to drop. They have a league that I think is still running and stuff. Like, I know there's professional teams out there still. Like, there's...
Right.
Yeah.
So it's important for them to get Overwatch 2 out earlier because they need to revitalize. If they have an ecosystem to maintain, they need to revitalize it and give it another shove, you know? Whereas with Diablo 4, like, fuck the haters. Like, delay it until it's ready. Screw them. Because there's no... Like, people who are gonna buy Diablo 4 are gonna buy Diablo 4. They're gonna buy it in a month. They're gonna buy it in 20 months. Like, whenever you release it, they're gonna buy it. Nobody cares. Nobody is gonna fucking lose their job as head Overwatch coach because you didn't fucking release Diablo 4, right? No one. There's no teams. There's none of that shit. And they've all got Diablo 2 to grind out for a while anyway. So who cares? I think that that's actually good. I think that I would have imagined that they would have released it unfinished. Like, if we were in an alternate timeline and they released the game, I would have said that that's typical. Like, that is Blizzard just being new Blizzard. And this is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that they delayed it. As long as the game comes out functioning, then good. Slowly says Blizzard always delays games. That is classically true, but not recently true. Take a look at Warcraft 3 Reforged. And take a look at fucking StarCraft 2 StarCraft Remastered. Even that wasn't fucking finished when they released it too. And Warcraft 3 Reforged is the same thing. This is a new Blizzard phenomenon to not... They've literally been acting like every other company. So for them to not delay, or for them to delay games, right, is a classical Blizzard thing. And I agree that they used to do that, but lately they've been acting a lot more like a shit company and a lot less like Blizzard. So hopefully,
is this maybe a turning of...
I mean, listen, they
I'm
need
trying
some
to be optimistic
dubs.
here.
Bro, they needed some dubs. They need enough W's that the servers stay on until Frost Giant comes out with a fucking video game to replace their sorry asses, okay? So, I'm rooting for Blizzard until the day that Frost Giant has done their fucking game, and I can jump ship, okay? They need to hold it together just long enough, right? They just need to keep it, just hold on for dear life.
Hold the line!
Just Hodor, okay? Just you hold the fucking door
statistically,
long enough,
if you get enough L's in a row, do you statistically eventually start getting some W's? Like, if you flip a coin enough, do you eventually start getting some W's in there?
No, you can keep losing.
But, like, if you're trying to get W's, like...
You can keep losing until you go... Well, the thing is that they need W's now because WoW is suffering, I think, right? The numbers are down, right?
Yeah. Their reports are... not looking great. The WoW player base looks like it's dipping as far as I can tell and been told. They're running out of things to remaster. It looks like also this is not worth too much time, but back when there was the great big scandal that they had, they replaced what's his face? Jalen Brack with two people.
Yeah, I don't know what to
Mike
make of
Yarba and Jen O'Neill, and Jen just stepped down, making it maybe the shortest term as a CEO, or I guess she was a co-CEO or something, ever at Blizzard. And then she's going to work, it looks like, Games International, or Women in Games International. And at the same time, Blizzard donated $1 million to said organization, and she's going to work over there. Leadership problems.
Yeah, I don't listen. She just hopped in, so like, quite frankly, this could be anything from she just leveraged it to get a different position. She already wanted to work at the other place and joined temp here.
Right.
Like,
they might have been just like, hey, come work at our place for 2 months to help us cover up this PR thing.
You could go with token PR woman, like Jeremy's saying in the chat.
I just don't know. Whatever. It's news story. It's a news story that I feel like I should report, but I have like no opinion on it. Like I don't know. Like, okay, great.
Yeah, there's actually no good way to know, I think. I mean, very realistically, she could have just filled in because she was in the role that would have naturally go to that spot, and she was already kind of because it's really soon after, so she probably was already like planning her exit strategy anyway, because she maybe like wanted to move on to other things. I'm not sure. Could be that she was like, this place is unfixable. Bye-bye now. Like, I have no fucking clue.
What is it? What is the old man, The Simpsons, where he walks in the door, does one loop, and then walks out the door?
He takes off his hat, puts his coat, does a loop.
Nope.
Back
out. Okay.
Walks off. Yeah.
I don't want to be part of this place on my shoes. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
It could be. Like, who knows? Who actually knows? Blizzard is either going to come out of this I think this, like, the next couple of years, they're either going to fix it or they're going to die.
They have Call of Duty and Candy Crush money. I don't think they're going to die anytime soon, even if WoW dies completely. Like,
well, without WoW, it's tough to justify their existence, and they have no titles, bro. Like, this is if they were making good games, you would have a leg to stand on. But like, what the fuck are they even making?
Overwatch 1 was a huge payday for them.
Oh, absolutely,
so they're
was.
Hoping that next big one is going to be even bigger, which technically, by all mathematical accounts, it should be bigger. And
it should be big.
It'll carry them for another ways.
But
like when it keeps getting delayed and...
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, man. Like, every single thing that they're working on is either a remake
except for Call of Duty.
or a sequel.
Nope, now it's not accurate. Okay. Call of Duty's making bank money every time they release a new season. People are paying like $40, $60 on skins and the new season pass. And then every time a title drops now, they have that money and they drop a title. Have they missed a year of dropping a Call of Duty every single November? Like, I don't know.
Like, I don't think so. And that's fine. Like, obviously
they'll be fine in the long run.
That's Activision's cash cow, but that's not Blizzard's cash cow.
Well, they are now. It's the same, like...
Yeah, they're the same. They're sort of the same thing. So, I mean, if you're referring to Activision, but I'm talking about Blizzard specifically, that section. Like, at some point, Blizzard fucking bites the dust enough that they just amalgamate, no? And they just sort of take them under as Activision full, and that's it. Like, I don't know. That's what I'd imagine. Like, if they're not their own publisher doing their own thing, why even keep them separate? Like, I don't understand. Like, they have tons of talented devs that you would just... I personally
feel like this is why Activision gobbled Blizzard up to start with, but like, I don't know. So here we are.
I mean, clearly, they gobbled them up long enough. They could have done a merger or something a long time ago if they really wanted to. So clearly, they wanted to keep the separation. But you know, if they're not making games, which they are making them, but there's not releasing any. Like they don't have anything slated for release except for D4 and O2, and they're both delayed to undisclosed dates. They could be starting up other stuff, and we just don't know about and won't know about. Like we didn't know that Overwatch was in development as a public news thing for quite a while, and they've been working on that. And they scrapped Titan before it. Like there could be unreleased stuff we just don't know about. So who knows? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that. I don't know. It feels like it's almost like they're developing enough that it'd be like really tough to hide, like to also be developing something else, but simultaneously not developing enough at the same time. I don't know. I just doubt that. They could be, but they also have Hearthstone, which apparently people are upset that they've sort of neglected. Oh, because it wasn't in this post, right? That was like Frodan talking. When was the last time Hearthstone got an update? I don't track it, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's it was a little while ago, like a couple months ago, I think, because I remember people talking about an expansion it got like a couple months ago or less. Okay. So it's getting some sort of something, but it definitely doesn't feel loved as it used to, just from what I can tell. No, I mean, it used to get a lot of love. Yeah. Let's see. Let's swap to Facebook. We have semi-good news, I guess. You know, that all that image data that they tracked. Don't you mean Meta? Facial recognition? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Metagaming. No, Meta face. No, Meta. It's just Meta. Oh, okay. I intentionally stumble over some of these things sometimes for the joke, but whatever. The subtitle. Yeah. Regulatory pressure and massive lawsuits may have forced his hand. It feels like may should have been in like a great big, like italicized, bold, underlined, like... Hey guys, we stopped being a piece of shit, but only because we had no choice.
So
Oh
they're
my
deleting
God.
facial recognition data on over 1 billion people. Is this like that thing of like the question of have you stopped beating your wife yet? Like, like is there a good answer for this? Like, you did at one point, so we're stopping now. Is that good? Like, I probably shouldn't say that on the internet now. I don't know how.
It's all right. It's your channel.
It's my channel.
You'll know the line.
I'll know the line when I cross it. God damn it. Okay. I don't know much about this, how this impacts anybody other than like, okay, people are cracking down on shit. Great.
I mean, but this is
regulatory body.
This is the fucking tech they were using to just identify that it was you and your friends, right?
Cambridge Analytica data here, there, and yon.
Is that what it is, or is it just like what they were doing to be like, hey, is this you? I remember when they would do that, like when I was in fucking high school. They've been using this shit for ages.
Part of the problem is we don't know what all they used it for, and how can we ever tell?
I mean, the obvious one is that someone takes a photo and then it tells you, hey,
people.
Is this you?
Mm-hmm. And so, like, some of that data is being linked, and they say they never sold this specific set of data. So, who knows? Okay. I got nothing else on the story.
Yeah, I mean, they'll sell anything. They're like the most shameless OnlyFans like patron. Like, they'll sell anything.
Hey, guys, remember, when the product is free, you are the product, okay?
Yes. Absolutely.
Speaking of products that are not free, especially overpriced iPhones.
Oh my God, yeah, I saw
modded iPhones selling for $10,000 or $100,000.
Some robotic kid made a USB-C iPhone and put it on fucking eBay, and the first bid was $3.5K, and now it's up to $100,000. It has to be some fucking eccentric billionaire who just wants the one from the article, right? Has to be. There's no fucking way anyone actually wants to pay $100,000 for it.
We're a split family. I just want my one cable to rule them all. God damn it! I'll pay $100,000 for it.
Imagine taking a mortgage out on your house to place the winning bid on a USB-C iPhone, bro. Oh my God.
It could be somebody like Elon Musk.
Elon would do. Bro, yeah. I have one cable, is what he would say. Give me the fucking USB-C iPhone.
You go over to Elon's house, he's like, hey guys, there's only one iPhone in existence that you can charge with a USB-C.
Dude, Elon wouldn't pay for this. He just gets you get a couple interns together and be like, all right, listen. $20,000 to whoever puts a USB-C port in this fucking iPhone. Yeah.
And it would cost him less. And also iPhone news. iOS 14 all the way up to 14.6, it looks like, has a standard, reliable, working jailbreak for it. My roommate did it last night after waiting for about a week. It's looking pretty good as far as I can tell for most people. And a lot of people are ecstatic over this. This marks the first time in quite a while where we actually have something since like, I don't follow this much at all. So I can't tell you what exactly version people were reliably cracking before this, but this is like a huge news thing in the scene.
I think it was in the 13s.
Yeah. Apparently there are rumors that people are close to getting 15 too. But it's like we're talking like the ultra elite level devs are working on those hacks. So it's not going to be, apparently it's like a matter of time, and they're saying maybe months, maybe weeks, who knows, but they're like pursuing it, which is news if you are on that. What about you? What is your iOS version, and how soon would you upgrade to an iBroken phone if you had the choice, if they were relatively recent, if they got to 15.2?
I mean, now I'm gonna pause. Like, I'm at like 15.1, but now I'll pause and then I'll wait for a jailbreak. Maybe. I don't know. Like, I would have said that I probably like would want to do emulated stuff just for like travel. There's no travel right now, and by the time that there is travel, Steam Deck will be out. So if I'm actually like gonna go to shit, and I want a travel device, I'm not going to use a fucking phone when I could buy a Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, Steam Deck is going to be so sick.
The amount of sick that's going to be with just being able to have a PC that level is just going to be insane. Like,
yeah, I'm very excited for that. So, I don't know, like, jailbreaking my iPhone is something that I think it'd be, like, pretty cool to do if I... Like, it's weird. There's, like, a level of casual I need to be to want to do it. Like, if I were taking a bus to work every day, or, like, getting on the GO train, or, like, getting on... Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I had 30 minutes of travel to do a day, like, and I wasn't the one driving... This is when I would be like, all right, so, like, I want some fucking proper emulators on my iPhone. Give me that. But until then, I don't know. Feels like I just want something. If I was gonna do, like, longer trips, I'd want something more substantial. Because that's what it's probably gonna be. Is like, it'll be longer commutes if I'm going to actually, travel at all. So
I feel like I want something more like a tablet-sized screen rather than my phone for most of those type of things. At least small laptop.
Yeah, I mean,
size,
Switch OLED is like, if they once they sort the N64 shit out, that's like, it's a very nice screen too. So like,
oh, I have pictures for you. I forgot. So after Joey did this, we went to Chick-fil-A the other day, and we were like, hey, let's see if this works. And sure enough, it did. So this is us in the Chick-fil-A line. Oh, let's see.
No way. Yo, that's sick.
Our car screen's a little dusty there, but yeah, that's
so sick.
Puppetry Zelda right there, guys. That's your streamer. And it worked pretty well. This was on 720p, and it was just like flowing. Like, this is right when you were moving the camera and stuff, but like, it works really well. It's really sick. Like, you can play YouTube videos, Twitch content.
So wait, what?
It wasn't allowed.
What this is this like built in, or like, what is this?
So this is he has like a Honda. Oh god, now I'm gonna forget what it is exactly, but it's one of the newer Hondas, and it's got this built-in screen, but like the iOS doesn't work with the built-in system, because the built-in system in his car talks to the iOS, and the iOS is like, no, you're in a car, we're not allowing you to play any content to your device screen. You're forced to like use this specific set of parameters, and you can't actually put content there. Now you can, and he was able to just like play YouTube content, turn his screen off, and turn
something to do that to it.
Well, he jailbroke his iPhone, and then it worked.
Oh, that's what the jailbreak let him do?
Yeah. Today during lunch, he took an emulator and was playing N64 games on emulator on the counter, just like he had a controller, like I forget what type of controller it is. It's a PlayStation controller, I think, and he was like playing Tilt games, and it was just like collecting stuff.
Yeah, so like this
bananas or something. But
I would do an iPad OS jailbreak. That I would do, because that is a much bigger screen. I would do that for like emulator and shit. Like, I have an 11-inch iPad, and I would do that for that. But like for your phone, I don't know. I'm more likely to just get a Steam Deck or upgrade to a Switch OLED or something.
Right.
But that's actually super sick. I like that. I like that allowed you to do that. So is it like, did he have to install an app to do that, or is that just come with the jailbreak? Or
so as soon as he jailbroke it, that part, the Twitch feature just worked. But he installed a couple other things that, like, you could do file manager, mess with whatever files you wanted. There's a console now, like a terminal shell. Like, you access the shell yourself, type in whatever you want. Process manager. It did break the battery of, like, how much battery has been used by what apps. That just gives you a spinning circle. It's, like, not critical. He knew that before he, like, did it. He was like, okay, well, I can live with that. So there's, like, a couple small things, but, like, he has a whole bunch of power tools that he never had before. As far as what he had to do it, there's this this site right here, which was, let's see, this is Uncover, and the O is a 0, uncover.dev, and you just download this, and they have installation guides per if you're doing on iOS, Mac, Linux, whatever you want to do. And then they have everything right there. And it just runs, and it was pretty easy. And then he could use Putty and tap into it and change his password and everything like that so that he was good to go. So it was pretty simple. I think it took him 30, 45 minutes with him coming in, hitting one snag, but it was pretty simple. So, let's see. Oh, one thing in Twitch news we forgot to talk about. If you ban people now.
No, they reverted it, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, they reverted it. Well, now
but it's an interesting story.
So,
yeah, they did revert it. Okay, so very quickly, Twitch was implementing if you ban someone, it will automatically unfollow you. The person banned will no longer be following your channel. And the reason that people were worried about this is because you could have a rogue mod who just banned all, and then they would unfollow everybody from your channel.
Which...
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Unexpected side effect. But they...
Oh, okay. This article's actually been updated. The link I had...
I actually think... I saw one comment. So this is a very interesting topic, and it does make trolling much harder, and it makes ban evasion and stuff harder, and it makes all these things harder, which is good. But I agree with one comment that they should have a ban, so timeout ban, and he called it eviscerate, or some further thing than ban.
Glass
I think that if you get
turn to glass from orbit type of situation,
right?
Yeah.
I think that they should make it so if you get hit with that you just can't see the channel anymore unless you're logged out. Not only can you not that channel effectively doesn't exist to you.
Out of sight, out of mind argument up the wazoo. A lot of the trolls
not even
back.
searchable. You won't show up in the following list, and you won't show up in the directories, and you won't show up in search bar either.
Yeah.
So there should be a much harder to hit button. So because Jeremy, they're right next to each other. The ban and timeout. It happens all the time. It's not no one's fault. It's fucking human error. It's not...
Eviscerate from orbit with a fucking nuke should be the button that only the streamer gets or something, right?
Drop-down button, this person just no longer shows up for this person.
I think that should be a button the streamers get, not the mods get, necessarily. And if there's a list of people that are critical to it...
you could have give it to the editor
or editors. There you go. Editors and
a higher, because there is a higher. There's mods, editors, and then there's the broadcaster, and there are people with a higher privilege than moderator, and that should happen.
And let's be fair. There's Twitch is a very big place. And there are a lot of moderators on the site. If you might be a user in 17 chats, but you're a mod in 4. Okay. That's a lot of power to give people,
Yeah, I mean,
we should really
only give mod. I learned this shit a long time ago when I was a much smaller streamer, and you should only really give mod to people that you trust.
Mm-hmm. Not people who are there a lot. You shouldn't
be giving mod out like it's a fucking Halloween candy. It's not. It's very specific. People should have that privilege, and it should always be, in my opinion, should always be people who don't really want it.
This is the way I feel about the presidency, but that's a whole other politics topic.
In my personal life, I personally think that it should be all politicians, not just the president.
I agree with you, actually.
I think that power is best given to those who don't want it at all.
I forget who originally said it, but my dad used to have a comment on this. This will be as far as I go with politics. 60 seconds and I'm done, I promise. Okay. Maybe I'll cut it to 30. That every couple of years when we go to elect the people from Congress, we go through a phone book, like the yellow pages, and we just pick names randomly out of there every so often, every 10th line or whatever, and it alternates, find some system. They get elected for Congress for 4 years, they come out, they're done. Never going in again. And you just have people that are actually not politicians, that their entire job is to raise money to... Okay, that's about it. Yep.
Yeah.
If you want
I'm in
something to get
agreement.
done, give it to a busy
But
man.
not
They'll
a
find a way to
random.
get it
It's
done.
like you get a serial killer into Congress, and it's like
Okay,
a fucking
a little
weird,
bit more vetting than that. Come on, like you pass a
little bit more
background
vetting than that.
check.
Oh, but that
I don't
okay.
know. But the
Well, but
point
then
is,
it comes-
we
then
would
the
have a
question
better.
who does the vetting, and then
Okay, we need to change politics topics already because this is we're going to get such a deep hole. I don't disagree with you.
I mean,
but like
the idea is that it's a completely unbiased, like random
Right.
approach, and that is a beautiful thing. But then as soon as you start putting like it has its obvious flaws, but as soon as you start putting all of the like anything on it, now people have to choose. You know, we can just get Google's AI to do it. I guess that would solve that.
I had the weirdest experience this week. I called
go
my
ahead.
doctor's office and I'd been up all night, and I was like, "What time is it? It's 7. I don't know if my doctor's office is actually open, but I'm gonna call and try." And this like, you know how they like banned the AI that you could tell to go call people and make a hair appointment for you, and that was a great big news story. I called my doctor's office and I thought it was a human for like the first like couple of seconds, but I noticed like this very soft like ding or like this buzz or like it was electronic noise at the end of every sentence or question that she asked.
Yeah.
And she was asking dynamic questions that were like almost pre-recorded. And she like asked me if they would call me back on a day, and it took me a good like 2 minutes to realize this was like an AI answering service that had a whole set of like advanced complicated questions. It was the most advanced operating system answering system I'd ever heard. It was like such a surreal experience. Like,
That's interesting.
so they banned the ones that you can go and call people with, but apparently not answering ones.
Right. Yeah, it's like an assistant.
It was a very good experience. I'll say that. But
I wonder
I don't
whose
know.
AI it is.
I'm going to ask them as soon as I go and reschedule because I have like a whole bunch of questions for the office manager. I'll be like, "Yo, I used to work as an office manager for this. I have a really big question. Can I ask what that is?" Like, just I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I'll report back with that. Oh, reporting back on things. Beer Dragon is our only Patreon, as far as I know, still, and he's asked us to talk about XLR to Ethernet. So I've ordered an XLR to Ethernet device, but the one I had saved in my cart, there's actually a couple reviews for it now, and they're all like god awful. They're like, this thing didn't work, the channels weren't right or whatever. So I ordered one that's about $50, and it has 4 XLR ports into an Ethernet port, and it's supposed to convert all of it and send it down, and then you'll have a couple of different channels. And I'm trying to figure out what this is, and it wouldn't be here for today. It'll probably be here on the weekend. So it is happening. We'll review it live. I'll put my sound through it on the podcast and see what happens.
That's cool.
Maybe we'll actually do it.
I look forward to that.
Well, maybe a good use case for this would be Joey's getting a MacBook, and I had said you should come on talk to us when you actually get your MacBook, and like he'll be our first in-person guest, and I'll get his XLR, and it'll be a live use case. We'll get it in here. There we go.
Yeah, you can just run a really long Ethernet cable.
We already have the Ethernet cable. Bingo! He just plugs it in his room, and
That'd be sick.
Live production from him to here. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Let's see what else.
Yeah, so when did he ordered it and shit, right? When's it come in?
I don't know. It was a
I
couple
convinced
weeks
Morton to get the
out.
upgraded version too. I was like, bro, like, don't take the 16 gig version. Come on,
See,
man.
he canceled his
Like,
first order to get the upgraded one, so he was like, I don't want to
bro,
regret it.
You're spending an arm and a leg, like, and 16 gigs is already like you're gonna you're gonna have this for like 5 years. Don't do it to yourself. Like, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. It's not good. Yeah, and the extra cores are sick too, I guess. But like the RAM is the big one, man. Like, I don't think in 2021, like 16 gigs of RAM for a soldered on device is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Really, really, really bad plan. For your own rig or whatever, it's fine because you can just upgrade. But for this thing, you can't. And yeah, I think it's a bad choice. So I think it's very wise to upgrade the RAM.
He wasn't on the first ordering wave, so it'll be here. It'll be here in a while. We don't know how long, but
yeah, Warren said like 3 weeks to a month or something. I'm very excited to see because this is in their own way. Apple has actually entered themselves as like a third competitor,
right?
Because this machine is going to be huge. Like this generation of MacBook is going to be crazy. When they come out with like a Mac Mini version, it's going to sell like hotcakes. They're
not going to be able to keep those in stock very long. Like,
no, and it's gonna. I think that if they come out with a Mac Mini version, they will increase their market share enough that they will become like a major competitor in CPU sales over Intel and AMD. I think it's going to be a real problem for them. I'm very curious.
It's going to be interesting I know the marketplace is about to change drastically with how much is getting implemented and all this. It's fun to watch. Like, honestly fun to watch. Like,
dude,
having competitors is just like...
This is the most interesting tech has been in like 5 years.
Yeah. It's also the most expensive tech has been in the...
This is the most interesting it's been since Ryzen 2000.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Ryzen 2000 was like when Intel and AMD got close, but then AMD was undercutting them by so much that the value was obvious, right? Like,
yeah,
if you bought an Intel machine, you were just, balling on a budget, or you were just balling with no budget, pretty much. Like,
or had a very specific use case, which,
yeah, but it was
fair.
Yeah. But that was the year of that was the year of. It depends, because that was the year of 30 or of 20 series cards, right? So like then you had NVENC. So like now your use cases start to diminish, and then with Ryzen 3000, it started to become like Team Red, pretty much.
Right.
So Ryzen gave them another shot, and that was like the beginning. It's very interesting.
Nathanias is headed to Sweden for DreamHack, and he says next week he'll be down to join us to talk about CPUs more, because he'll be in a hotel room and
Shit, is he thinking of going Alder Lake?
I think he's not planning on. He's specifically planning on not going Alder Lake based on the benchmarks so far, which we only have so much of. We have a limited amount, but what we see today.
Oh yeah, I guess this is. Yeah,
so we only have a limited amount. We're gonna probably. What I'm saying now is we're gonna dive into this much deeper. Probably next week.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Go ahead. Shoot.
So like a very brief overview. I mean, it's better than everyone. Like even the 12600K basically outperforms everything that AMD has to offer in most use cases, except for productivity. And even then, it's like very good. The efficiency cores are really good. The boost clocks are obviously like really, really sick as well. Everything about it looks pretty good, except the power usage is fucking crazy.
It's at a cost. Holy shit. Power.
Dude, some guy,
heat.
I was reading some, so like I follow r/ small form factor PC a lot because I really like it's like kind of a thing I like to watch. Like I obviously have a small form factor rig myself, and like the rig I have is like a 15 liter. It's probably the smallest I'll ever go because I can put whatever size GPU I want in it. But I follow that thread, that subreddit to follow like the trends and what everyone's doing and stuff. And somebody was saying that in order to get the 12600K to stay within spec at like its max, you need a triple rad, like a 12600K. Like you need a 3-slot or like a fucking 3 rad long cooler to keep their fucking i5 within spec. It's that crazy. So like, I could imagine it might have been overblown, but dude, like it is crazy how hot those things are. Like super hot. They're sucking power like it's nobody's business, man.
And they're just outputting shit tons of heat for it. Their solution to competing with AMD is shit. We'll just throw more juice at it. Like, okay, great,
bro. It's crazy, and I mean, it's obviously a testament to the architecture that can withstand this amount of power, right? Like, dude, the 12900K is 250 watt TDP. It is sucking back like what 8 times. 8 times the amount of power as my 5600X. 8. It's fucking crazy. It's bananas.
Just look at this shit.
Yeah,
this
this is what's fucking crazy.
It's
look at
sucking
this.
in 307 watts.
What the fuck? And the Ryzen 9 technically has more full cores.
Yeah.
Right? It's 1632, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other one is 1624.
This is where, like, I think AMD has probably 3 or 4 generations of headroom of increases to get to where Intel is right now.
Yep.
Like, as the power, so AMD is like gonna take the L here, but once you get to once they allow,
I don't know
power
about that actually. People are so like fired up about AMD, and they're like on the AMD train. They're realizing that they're like performing really well. A lot of advanced users and people that are buying these high-end chips, I don't know that they're going to be quite as willing to like give Intel the W, even though they got the higher benchmark number because of this. Like,
they get the gaming W first of all. Like, so again, this isn't fair because this is productivity, and this is with all cores running full tilt.
Sure,
but once you put the 12900K in a gaming scenario where it's actively able to utilize like fewer cores and the efficiency cores, then it's like actually very close. So it doesn't scale well to max, but in its ideal use cases, which is like gaming, which is what people are going to buy it for usually, at least a 12600K, it actually does very well. It only so the 12600K I think is rated for like 125 watt TDP. And the R5 5600X is rated for 65 watt TDP. So you get like 20% more performance, but you pay 20 or literally 100% of the TDP. So it's super crazy. Like, the coolers you're gonna need are really insane. Like, forget this for a small form factor, man. It's like out of control. But it has 2 other things going for it as well. It has DDR5, which AMD doesn't have yet, and it also has PCIe Gen 5, which AMD also doesn't have. So it has some things, like even as a platform, it has stuff going for it that AMD does not have. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is not something that I would buy. This is a skip gen for me anyway. Same with the GPUs. Like, the 30 series gen is a skip gen for me.
I'm more likely to take what's in my 5800X, take it out, sell it to somebody in a used case on a used motherboard or something, and be like, here's a PC for cheap because it's slightly used and parts are at a premium right now. Which I have a slight business where I make people PCs. I do, I don't know, a dozen a year or so, and upgrade myself to the 5950X. Like, that's about my upgrade path.
And it'll be a good time to do that because there'll be people. Yeah, you'll have enthusiasts ditching their 5950X for 12900Ks.
Right,
and you'll have people. The 5950X will drop in price. It has to, because it's not top dog now. Right, it's not like, and it'll scale with its performance, because if it's not top dog, there's no point in charging that money. It's probably already on sale. If I checked right now, it's probably on sale. No, the benchmarks are out.
I don't think it'll go on too much of a sale, but it'll go on somewhat of a sale.
$50 or something.
Yeah. Also, these are not like a lot of benchmarks that are. These are not like game benchmarks. These are not like full flesh. We're like just barely at the cusp of getting a few benchmarks in. So like, we'll have a much better story in a week from now about all this stuff, which is why it'll make sense to revisit it somewhat. Can we talk about the nice special edition 10-year anniversary of the Blue Yeti mic?
Link it? Show me. Let's see what they did. How much are they charging? Well, it depends on what they're charging. If they're charging over $100 for it, I mean, it belongs on your desk, holding down a particularly big stack of paper, or in the trash can, which is what it's shaped like.
Oh God, it's so. Am I signed in? Good, I'm not signed in here. Okay, just making sure I'm not leaking my zip code or anything. Know
that you browse the Blue Yetis.
Exactly. I don't want that in my. I don't care if people know my zip code as much as I don't want this in my Amazon search recommended history, guys. Okay. So this is like the blue Yeti. This is a 10-year custom finish on it. Sure, I guess.
So $129.99 American.
Yeah. You want me to Google how much it is in Canadian?
You know what, man? For $109, the Blue Yeti is not a bad microphone. For $109, that's not bad. It's not good for most streamers because of the fact that it's not dynamic.
But if somebody needs a microphone and they only have $100,
you know, it has
sure.
the open pattern is actually very useful. Like to be able to have it in the middle of a desk and pick up all the people around it.
Right.
But like the one on the left there, if you click it, is that new in the States?
The silver one?
Just
yeah,
the
this is
classic Blue Yeti?
This is on sale, yeah.
Well, but that looks like an older version. Is it? Or is it the same? No, I think it's the same, right?
This looks like the same thing.
Well, not for okay. So it's the same as the other colors, but obviously the Blue Yeti like finish one. Yeah, so like I think that this is fine. I think it's if you buy this mic, like I don't think most streamers should buy this mic just because of the noise rejection quality. Like there are tons of other dynamics like the QTU and shit that would do better, but like it's not the shit value proposition that I used to always rail against and still do, right? Like $109 is actually very fair for it. I can't really give anybody flack for buying that from a value perspective.
Slowly says 180 Canadian.
Yeah, so Canadian dollars, like you don't know where that value is coming from. Is it coming from exchange rate? Is it coming from shipping costs? Like who knows like where that comes from. So
right.
I usually judge by USD because they get the best deals and it's
before
like the
you
most
buy
fair
this
comparison.
We should mention that the Shure SMV7 is on sale as well right now for what did I say?
SMV7.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
The Shure MV7 XLR and USB interface microphone is on sale, which it's normally $250. It's $220. So if you're buying a microphone,
this thing is a fucking killer value. Like I shill.
This is what I recommend to everybody.
Yeah, this is the microphone right now. It's an incredibly good deal, honestly.
You just plug it in via USB.
The MV7X too. The black, the XLR only.
Yeah.
The one in the bottom left. The one without USB is also a killer value as well.
It's a better DAC for that.
You do need a DAC for that. But the quality of the XLR is better than that of the MV7. I checked Podcasters' review of it.
Nice.
So if you want basically like a cheaper SM7B that sounds really close but a little bit off, for like literally a third the price, this is the play.
Question: did they need a cloud lifter to boost that?
I think they do. Could be warm enough to use it without it.
So you need to tell people that it's not the $150 they're looking at. It's $150 plus $100, $110 for cloud lifter.
Yeah,
plus a DAC cost.
It really, I don't really know because you could do software boost after. Like you can use Obsria plugin as well. It depends on what your use case is. Like you can take the clean feed and then boost it a bit, and it'll work out just fine. Right. One of these mics is not on a cloud lifter. Like it just depends too on the DAC as well. Like if you had, my Steinbergs have been fine. No, the Focusrites have been fine. It was the Steinbergs. The Focusrites come in hotter. The Steinbergs come in quieter. So it just depends, like on what the setup is. The MV7 is a safer call though, because I think the USB. I would recommend an MV7 to anyone who has any inkling that they might travel for any reason with a mic, because then your travel setup is your mic and a cable.
USB cable, and you're good to go. You're solid.
Just a USB cable, and you're off to the races. Whereas if you're on a DAC setup, well, now you have to take the DAC, 2 USB cables, maybe a cloud lifter. You got a whole thing,
plus
and
2 XLR cables.
You also have to remember that the software comes with compression, gain, all this shit too. So you have EQ, so you can kind of make up for some of the room differences when you're out and about, because you're not going to be at home in your idealized setup. I think it's just a good value.
I think we also have some breaking news here as well that might be the first time it's public. or one of the first times it's public news. McCanning, yes, the one and only headset microphone streamer, has ordered an MV7, so his audio quality should improve drastically, thus ending the what is this? Like
Dude,
4
end
years?
End of an era.
3 years of what it was.
End of an era.
Sal's W is so big right now, he just can't even.
Bro. I'm just like, dude,
I love you, Canning. If you ever see this, I'm sorry.
I planted that seed, and then I garnered the W literally 4 years later. I waited a long time to collect my dub, but I did it.
A well-earned, well-deserved.
I earned that W, dude. I earned it. I really fucking did.
Let's see.
That's good, though.
I was going to talk a little bit about what I was making plans for this today and yesterday and a little bit the day before. I thought about actually talking about Age of Empires a little bit, but we might actually have a pylon show coming up for that, so I'm going to save most of that for most of that content. We're running a little bit long today anyway. Last thing on the dock, I think, is... two things on the dock. We have your keyboard story, and Google wants every account to use two-factor authentication, so they're auto-enrolling accounts to this. So you get to, at some point...
So wait, I don't understand. If you have no phone, are you fucked?
So, from what I can tell, they're going to start rolling out with only people that have phones. You can also use, as listed here, there's physical security keys like USB sticks. They offer a couple different ways for you to do this. Sometimes it's either like you have to sign into a device that already was signed into Google previously, so you can go back to one of your older devices and verify it every single time, which of course is a pain, but if you have your laptop and your desktop or something along those lines, your phone, and if you don't have a phone, I don't know what, but like...
So the days of having like an anonymous YouTube or like Google account are over.
It feels that way. This is a picture of the alert you'll get with this. I kind of understand and kind of actually agree with some of this, because as close as for a long time, when I was a kid, like 11 years old, they were talking about a single unified sign-in. And there's been pushes from like Microsoft, Facebook, Google, all to make like, hey, do you sign into any product ever? You can sign in with your Google account. You can sign in with your Facebook account. I fucking don't want to sign in with my Facebook account anywhere, but like you can sign in with your Google account in many places. It's actually helpful. And so my Google account, and I run several products and companies and organizations and shit, and they're all tied to various Google accounts. So like having two-step verification is extremely important for that. Your identity is kind of tied to your Google account in some degree, depending on how big or what you do on the internet. So I kind of understand and agree with this. Auto-enrolling people might be a step too far in some ways.
The pain in the ass is going to come from having to change phone numbers. Oh my God.
You want to talk about your phone number being tied to your identity forever, and how much of a headache that is for people who need to change their phone number. God.
How fucked are you if you're going through bad times and you have to turn your phone off?
Oh, dude.
You're so fucked. Like, you're so fucked. I guess you could do like prepaid.
Yeah, but like, you lose your phone number if you miss that middle segment or whatever. Like, I know somebody who has Discord, and they had to swap phones. They lost the phone. Like, your bank account, your PayPal, your Venmo, like, and it's such a long list of things.
You literally need to buy the second phone and have a phone number. You could do one SIM and then keep switching, but you would literally have like a second SIM. And then you'd have to swap all of your phone numbers over. And then you'd have to, like, and then you'd have to cancel it from there.
Some apps like Authy as well, like need to be some apps like Authy, Google Authenticator, that you get PIN numbers from. You have to transfer those. But again, some of the Authy, I think, might actually be tied to phone numbers sometimes. So, like,
is it?
Maybe
or
it's
is it
not
tied
Authy.
to like Apple ID or Google ID, I guess, but then you're in the conundrum where like it's tied to Google ID, but that's tied to your phone number.
The Google one is, but the Authy, I think, might actually be tied to phone number. Might not be Authy. There might be another one. I use too many authentication apps. Most people don't have this problem, but like, yeah, there's it's a pain in the butt.
Yep.
And it's not a perfect system, but, is what it is. Okay, keyboards. Do you have a link for me on this? I think Jeremy might be in chat. He might have the link for it. Or I might be in my history.
Keyboard are we talking about?
The IP theft riff-off, the company did the design.
You wanted to rant about Glorious's this? Twitter.
Oh, the Glorious PC, whatever the fuck.
Glorious, yeah. So I don't feel very strongly anyway about this. Part of me really feels like this is just... This is like what's wrong with copyright in general, except this guy doesn't have a copyright for it. But also at the same time, like, this is like terrible brand management. I don't know. Here, let's like open up there. So they have, I think their pinned tweet is a colorway that they're releasing for their keycaps, and it's in the replies there.
Okay, got it. Here we go.
Okay, so they're doing this colorway right here, and if you scroll down, like further into the replies,
so it would show the orange one.
Yeah, to the red. Okay. They look kind of cool. I wouldn't ever buy them, but okay, continue. Go down.
So you see some of these already.
Yeah. So this Aether one is a partner, like a guy who has partnered with Glorious in the past.
Right.
So he's like done unboxings for them and stuff, and he's worked with them. And this is his colorway that he's released. It's out there already. You can buy it on Group Buy, I'm pretty sure. And it's like, look, he's even got like a Glorious mouse and shit. So like they've worked together. And they ripped off his colorway. And then they're like advertising it as their own kind of deal. Like, but at the same time, it's this is the tweet that, this is the tweet that kind of kicked it off. At the same time, it's like, dude, it's a fucking colorway though.
There's kind of a line of like, at what point is it copyright theft or, question, let's go on a tangent for a second. How do you feel about Fortnite ripping off dances of various people and then making an in-game character and then selling the dance and making tons of money off of maybe a unique dance that a performer might have? Because this feels very similar to that argument that people had a long time ago.
Yeah, the thing is here is that this is what I think that they should have done. Okay, cool. The Fortnite dance thing, it's like, well, okay, so can you copyright dance? Like,
it's a performative thing. This is like, I
Michael
used a
Jackson
gradient color.
Moonwalk?
I used a gradient color from the top left to the bottom right.
Yeah, right. And they're not the same exact colors. They're slightly different, right? So, but the guy had a hot and cold colorway also, by the way.
Right.
So, like, they didn't even have 3 colorways. They had the 2 colorways he chose. Pretty much exactly. My thing is that how bad is your PR that you couldn't like just give the guy a cut? Like, or like work with him at all? You've already worked with him. Like, he did the work already. Why wouldn't you just do like a collab and a cut? You know? Like, why would you catch shit for this?
This is the tweet the guy put out apparently.
I like that. This is like
Thank you slowly for the link.
Really good. This is like a very cheeky way of saying, "Hey, what the fuck?" But like also not
right.
Yeah. So I mean, but you know, Rocket Jump Ninja actually had a really good take on this, which is that like people are really upset about this, but no one was complaining when they literally ripped off every one of their mouse designs.
From
like they ripped them all off. They're all fucking.
I still think they look like what is it? Fractal?
They're all Zowie clones
or Zowies, whatever
they're all Zowie clones.
I still see it.
One of them.
Even now, when I looked at the tweet over here,
the Model D
on it. Yeah, this one, right? I'll pull it up. This one. I thought it was that to start with, and then I like zoomed in and looked at on the side of this mouse. You have their logo with the guy with the flowing hair.
So
or
they're
whatever.
all Zowie clones, And then they undercut all the mouse manufacturers by like $50 with clones. But nobody was upset because they were delivering these products and actually able to do the manufacturing for them and release them.
Mm-hmm.
So like here they are again. Like instead of doing these like horrible group buys that nobody wants to partake in, they're actually making these colorways available for you to buy. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas like before, otherwise you'd have to group buy. You'd have to fucking wait months and months and months to get your copy, right? Because they're like, designed by one guy, and then they're, pushed to manufacturing, and you have to gauge interest first, and everyone's got to put in money, and you have the whole fucking thing. But, I mean, Glorious is just doing it all themselves. So, yeah, I mean, but nobody complained when it wasn't keyboards. Now everyone's upset. Because, like, they're keycap colors. But so I think that this is like I think they should have met the guy like 10% of the way. Like I'm sure he would have gladly taken like like a 5% cut or even 4% cut or something, and just gotten something out of it.
Even if not a percent, like a flat fee of like, hey, can we borrow
anything,
this?
Like
because percentages are hard for companies like this to predict.
Acknowledge the guy who came up with the idea, and it's like if you see some random guy like that you kind of know, he has like, he's the first guy to put like a wagon on wheels, and then you like make your own wagon and sell it, but you don't know him. And like everyone's like, oh, it's just competition, it's just business. But like if that guy's your brother and you fucking take his idea and sell it as your own. Or you used to be a coworker
with the guy, and then like
like
I've had those moments, man.
Each other, like you're looking at him like
like, bro, are you serious right now? What the fuck?
Yeah, like you're selling your shit and then you have to go home to the dinner table. He's there. Like that's what kind of fucking guy does that? Like just work with him. It just feels like it's unnecessarily competitive when you could have just bridged the gap.
Right.
I don't know. And again, like it's not even like this guy is like some fucking megacorp you're competing with. He's like, one content creator dude just trying to struggle through and make a living. And
you could easily make a deal with the guy. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That's what it is to me. It's just like, come on, guys. Like, are we really doing this? Like, I know you can do this legally. Like, you can just, it's color and you can just do whatever you want. But all right. Okay.
Speaking of which, I actually I didn't know this had happened, but on Saturday I went to Micro Center, or Sunday I went to Micro Center, and I actually bought a $50 mouse pad, and it's the Glorious Gaming PC Master Race. Yeah. And bro, dude, the thing is actually really nice because like I used to hate a lot of mouse pads because the Razer ones used to have, they didn't have a seam on the edges. They just cut it with a machine and then like put some sort of heat gun on it. They fixed it, but like I steered away from for years. Corsair had solid and you can only get them so big from certain places. And I'm a low DPI player. I play mostly first-person shooters like Apex, Counter-Strike, Valorant, etc., Overwatch. So like I would need a big mouse pad, and I have a big desk. So I actually finally got a solid one. It's 4 feet across left and right, and 2 feet up and down. Bro, the thing is actually really nice.
Yeah,
it's kind of shitty to see the company doing something like that. What can you do?
Like,
maybe
is
I
it
don't
though? Again, nobody complained when everyone was saving fucking $70 a mouse. It's like, what this seems to me is that like there's a very passionate community here, and they're all coming out for their boy, but boy doesn't have any legs to stand on. So
I took pictures of it. I'm checking to make sure the pictures don't have any incriminating evidence or anything on it. There we go.
Yeah, I own one of these. It's a great mousepad. Yeah, very nice. Nice setup.
Yeah, thanks. I genuinely like it. I got the mouse. I got a brand new mouse.
What'd you buy?
G Pro Superlight.
Fucking Superlight fanboy, huh?
No, I don't know that I like it yet.
You like it though, don't you?
I really don't know. I come from a G 905, 903.
305? Smaller one or bigger one?
90. I have the 305 here. This is what I use to control my second PC with. But the main one I used was the nice big honkin' G 903s. It's much heavier. And like that's what I like. This one feels too light. Like when I go to flick something and I want to stop, the mouse doesn't stop. I know this is a concept that you're going to have a hard time with. But when I flick my mouse out to the side and it's like a good 8-inch swing on something, I want it to stop at a certain point, and my muscle memory is hard because it expects the mouse to stop at a certain point, and the mouse just keeps going and it pushes, and I'm like, I want something with weight in it that I can
just power through, buddy. All the FPS players disagree with you. Like all of the pros, they're all in camp.
I know some people in Counter-Strike that
they're like countable.
I know a lot of people like it.
Countable, stubborn fucks. Don't listen to them. Listen to the fucking pro teams.
Here's the problem. You know the people, the few stubborn fucks that you're talking about.
Yeah,
they're all op players, which I am. I'm a primary opper. So we have a specific play style.
Through on the G Pro Super Late, they'd all be even better. Just relax.
God damn it.
See it through. Just give it a while. Just trust me. If you don't like it, just fucking
return it.
Wait till day 29 and then return it.
Sure. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it.
The thing is, there are heavier, like bigger, like mice that you could go for that are like wireless and shit. The Superlight is just really well regarded. I don't know. I hate that they're still using Omrons, but everyone seems to like look past that because Superlight's 60 grams. Everyone loves it. But yeah, lighter has been the trend for a while.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it yet. I don't like it, goddammit.
No, dude, it takes time, man. Like, I remember what I had to do when I switched from... when I went to the one that Rocket Gym Ninja designed, it was like 50 grams, like 55 grams or something. I was coming down from 75. I had to raise the DPI, or lower the DPI by like 50, or like maybe 100, because it was just that different, and like no amount of trying to get used to it would fix that it was just so much lighter. But eventually I got there.
One of the reasons I did both at the same time is it takes such a long time to dial in a new mouse, and
you might as well just do both.
Dial in a mouse pad. The difference on taking the old mouse, the same old mouse that I'd used for, I don't know. So before the 903, I'd had two of the G900s. So I've been using the same like style mouse with the same similar sensor for a while. The difference on the mouse pad alone with the same mouse is just like so different. It's like I changed my DPI from 450, or sorry, from 650 down to 450. From 650 down to 450, and that's how much a difference the mouse pad makes. It's just so much faster. And then you change the mouse feels like, I don't know, that's multiplying it by something.
It'll take time for you to adjust the mechanics. But what else you could do is, what I do is I actually run two mouse pads. I have the Razer Strider, so I have a hybrid mouse pad that's like a hard pad surface, but soft pad, and like you can like roll it up and shit. So, and then I have the Glorious one underneath that. I have that because sometimes I do like solder work and stuff, and I just want a desk pad.
Right.
And then I have like another one on top of it, so I can just take it off and work on it, and then not like scuff up the desk. But what a lot of people do is they have like they'll buy like a control pad. So they'll buy a mouse pad that's actually woven to be slower. So that it could be that. It could be that the Glorious mouse pad is just too slippery. It's like too quick.
It's definitely like a speed edition versus the Corsair Control edition that I was using.
And you can't get past that, instead of making the mouse heavier, and I go against making mice heavier because of ergonomics. Like obviously it's as close as you can get to just moving your hand around. So it's better on the wrist. So
I hate it, but I don't disagree with it. Does that make sense?
It's true. Like most people will agree. Like I haven't had any wrist issues since lighter mouse became a thing at all.
I don't really want to have a dual system because one of the things that I work really hard on is making sure that the sensitivity across all of my games is the exact same. So if I change something, I change my DPI and it changes everything. But I try not to have that ever happen. And I try to make sure that any mouse I use on my secondary production computer, as seen in I should show this picture. So the picture in the bottom left here is actually my control production streaming PC that I stream everything to. And then I make sure that mouse and the sensitivity and everything are exactly the same as much as I can to the main one, so that I have a muscle memory dialed in exactly where it is. So on my laptop, everything, I keep the same uniform, because I know people who change it or like swap DPIs, and it's like I can't do that.
No. What you can do is get a Control Edition mouse pad, and to increase the friction on the pad itself.
I don't know that I can find a big enough one, but
well, you don't have to. That's the beauty of it, is that you can just get one of the squares that covers where the mouse goes. Because I usually have a full mouse pad to keep the experience the same for the hands and stuff when I go to like LAN. You can just drop a fucking square mouse pad on the end of where the mouse goes.
I've actually thought about something else along maybe some of those lines of taking, when I do finally find a nice big mouse pad like this, of lifting it and then making like a cardboard or slight wood thing that's like, yay thick, and putting it underneath the entire desk except for like a small section, and underneath that cutting out the space for a wireless charger for like the light speed tech, so that I could rest it on it and it would charge, and as long as I'm on that spot it would charge.
Some people they drill a hole in the bottom of the desk and they put the puck underneath the actual desk itself, if you've got a solid wood top. Yeah, I could easily do something like that. They just run the cable. That's like a common desk mod that people do. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so what I'm saying is, don't go heavier mouse. I'd go more friction mouse pad if that persists in being a problem. But yeah, what is it? That drop must be like, what's a G903? Do you know the weight of that mouse? Like 90 to 100 grams?
It feels like 3 times the amount, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
but look
you
what
just
it
take
is.
time, man. That's a big drop. Like, for something that you've been using for that long, that is a huge drop. That is massive.
It's not 110 grams.
That is fucking crazy. That is
also
actually
so much a larger mouse. Like,
it is half the weight.
Half? It feels like more, but okay.
The Superlight is 60 grams, and the G903 is this is really, really, really light comparatively.
It's painful, I'll tell you that much.
Dude, I know, man.
I'll report back in a week and tell you how it feels.
I burned through so many mice trying to find like the one. I'm almost there. Like, the Viper Mini shape is very, very, very close, and the mouse I'm using now is just a knockoff of the Viper Mini, literally a 1-to-1 clone, pretty much, but wireless. So we're almost there. Just waiting for Razer to stop fucking around and give me my Viper Mini Ultimate. Sons of bitches.
Okay, I think that's about it for this week. You got anything else?
Nah, I got nothing. I am amazed that this lasted an hour.
We had a lot to talk about. It was 2 weeks since we recorded one.
I was coming to this like, we have nothing to talk about.
I was like, we have too much. I already trimmed like 5 topics out of this.
I have no idea how we have been here for 2 hours. Zero clue. I don't get it.
Well,
I don't know.
Let us know if it's good content or what other topics you want to see. We will do XLR to Ethernet. I promise, Robbie.
Yes, we do need to do that.
One thing I've thought about having for a topic is like time management, but it's not exactly tech related. But I want to see like what people like. I want to bring Neuro in maybe and talk about like,
I was actually just about to say Neuro would be really good for time management.
Yeah, and like talk about like how you make time management work in like a digital age and what tools you use, or if you use tools, or specifically if you don't use tools. Because like some of the ideas I have about this are like maybe going back as far away from tech as you can go, like pencil and paper, whiteboard, as much as you can to manage time versus like something on your phone or an app, and something that might be a topic we have at some point. So stuff like that.
I've considered doing like a Raspberry. Actually, now that I think about it, this is the play. I need like a Raspberry Pi and like a mini screen running just like a reminders app, but like the screen needs to be on because if I can't see the reminders, I forget.
So like a screen.
I feel like that's the
could be on a lot.
Just a permanently on display, like one in every room. But like Raspberry Pis are cheap as shit, right?
Yeah, you can get them for like less than $50.
Yeah, you can buy
for a whole kit,
like
a
Raspberry
screen.
Pi 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
because I was using Todoist for a while, but then the same thing always happens. Like, I put a bunch of stuff down, I use it for like 2 days, and then I just stop.
And I go back to it, and it's like
I never go back to it. That's it.
So maybe we'll have that as a topic at some point.
But like, if I could see it all the time, I feel like I'd use it.
I feel like I kind of. We have chat trying to. Okay, so slowly falling in chat says, just tell chat to remind you, Kappa. Well, for like 2 hours, I tried to get you to read one specific pasta, and you wouldn't read it. So like, that doesn't always work. So.
But that's on purpose, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, am I actually very quiet compared to Cobra right now? How quiet?
It looks like we're about the same.
Yeah, what the fuck, Dan? He's lying.
I have been like yelling more.
I'm not a third the sound.
You were not a third. I'm like watching, like the bars. I don't know. Whatever.
Test.
Okay, I'll listen to it later. I'll listen to the audio recording later.
Oh, I am actually quite a bit quieter. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Production manager failing. Okay.
Not like the most quiet though. Pretty quiet though. That's true.
It doesn't sound like your normal microphone. Since you did a microphone swap before the show, it sounded like a little bit like not normal. Does that make sense?
No, but this is the right. Well, it's a different mic than I'm usually on screen with.
Okay, well, something's different about like your input. Is what I'm saying.
Huh?
I don't know.
Really?
You can go listen to it afterwards, I guess.
Voice
but
and video. Yeah, it's not. The input volume's still maxed out. I don't know. Did I accidentally hit the?
This sounds like off-stream troubleshooting, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Well. Okay. Follow us on the places.
Weird, they said.
Send us. I think we've picked your Discord to be the official one. I have a Discord, not many people use it. No real reason to promote it unless you want to play Overwatch with me or something like that. Sal's Discord is where we're putting all the topics and stuff. So go over there, tell us like what you see, if you want to see something different, etc., etc. You got any shout outs?
Check out my stream.
Nice.
Twitch.tv/UpperTreeZelda.
There you go. I might be streaming Apex soonish, TM. I did a couple YouTube streams. That's a whole other topic for another time, but it's fun, interesting. Might have Pylon show this week or next weekend talking about AoE 4. That's about it. Those will be on Roddy's channel probably. That's everything I got. Thank you. Good night. See you all next week.
Night.